Leaders who lack power are at the mercy of those who have it. That statement, echoing Jeffrey Pfeffer's research, is as blunt as it is true. Yet, many people in leadership roles still hesitate to embrace the realities of power. They want to lead through inspiration alone, or worse, they assume that formal authority will automatically give them influence. Both assumptions are dangerous. The truth is that power is not one-dimensional. Leaders use different sources of power, sometimes subtle and relational, other times formal and forceful. And followers don't all respond in the same way. Some comply, some resist, and a few commit fully. Richard Daft, in The Leadership Experience, offers a framework that helps us understand these dynamics by distinguishing between soft power and hard power. Soft versus hard power. Power can be divided into two broad categories. Soft power relies on personal qualities and relationships. It draws people in rather than pushing them. It includes expert power, influence that comes from knowledge, skills, or unique competence. People follow because they trust your judgment. Referent power, influence built on admiration and respect. People want to be associated with you or emulate your qualities. Hard power uses formal authority, rewards, or punishments. It pushes people to act, often regardless of whether they agree. It includes legitimate power, authority tied to your position or role. People follow because you're the boss. Reward power, influence gained through the ability to provide benefits, promotions, bonuses, or even praise. Coercive power, the ability to punish or withhold rewards. People comply out of fear of negative consequences. Effective leaders rarely rely on just one type. They mix and match, using soft power to build commitment and hard power to enforce boundaries. How followers respond. The type of power a leader uses directly shapes how followers respond. Compliance. People do what you ask, but only to the letter. This is common with legitimate, reward, or coercive power. Work gets done, but creativity and ownership are low. Resistance. People push back, delay, or sabotage. Over-reliance on coercion, for example, often creates resentment that erodes trust. Commitment. People willingly align with your vision and put in extra effort. This is more likely when leaders use expert or referent power because followers respect the leader and feel inspired to contribute. In practice, this means that while hard power may achieve short-term results, soft power is what sustains long-term influence. The balancing act of leadership power. Think of leadership as a constant balancing act. If you lean entirely on hard power, you may get compliance but risk disengagement. If you lean only on soft power, you may gain admiration but lack the authority to enforce tough decisions. For example, consider a CEO leading a turnaround. They need to cut costs, a coercive and legitimate exercise of power, but they also need the team's buy-in to pursue a new strategy, which requires referent and expert power. Too much of one without the other leads to failure. Great leaders understand that the context matters. In crisis, hard power might dominate. In growth or innovation phases, soft power carries more weight. The art is knowing which lever to pull and when. Why leaders hesitate, and why they shouldn't. Many aspiring leaders hesitate to use hard power because they fear being seen as authoritarian. Others avoid soft power because they feel it requires vulnerability. Pfeffer would argue that both approaches miss the point. Power is not about how comfortable you feel. It's about what gets results. As a leader, your responsibility is to deliver outcomes. Sometimes that means making unpopular decisions. Other times it means earning trust, so people follow you willingly. Either way, you need power in both its forms. Building your power base. So, how do you start? A few practical steps. Develop expertise. Knowledge is one of the most credible and enduring forms of power. Stay ahead in your field. Build relationships. Influence grows when people know and respect you. Referent power can open doors that formal authority never could. Understand formal levers. Don't shy away from the legitimate reward or coercive tools your role provides. Learn how to use them judiciously. Observe follower responses. Pay attention to whether people comply, resist, or commit. Their reactions reveal whether you're leaning too heavily on one type of power. Final thoughts. Leadership is power in action. Power is not a dirty word. It is the essence of leadership. Without it, your vision remains just an idea. With it, you can mobilize people, resources, and organizations to achieve results that matter. Pfeffer reminds us that leaders without power are ineffective, no matter how authentic or well-intentioned. Daft shows us that power comes in different forms, and each elicits different responses. The challenge for every leader is not to avoid power, but to learn how to use it wisely, balancing soft and hard approaches to move people from compliance to true commitment. In the end, leadership is power in action. The question is not whether you will use it, but how.